Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
I was going to start, I think I was going to start with the Coronies, but I just thought start with the Oscars first for like 5 minutes and then just do the Coronies. Be out of here in like half an hour, pretty much. All right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Will Smith. That was the headline. Already talked about it a bit off mic, but yeah, not gonna lie, it's kind of embarrassing how emotionally affected I was by this moment. As I sit there at 4:45 in the morning when it happens, like thinking, what the fuck, is this real? Was he just done? You're still thinking this, and because in America they didn't hear him swear when he's like, yeah, get my wife's name out your fucking mouth. They didn't hear him swear, but in British TV you could hear him swear. So at that point it's like, okay, this can't be staged. Like you're not allowed to swear in that moment. So clearly it couldn't be staged. But even still, it's like, what? But surely not. Surely you can't lose that composure to just walk onto the stage and slap a guy in the face and tell it to get say the F word to him. But I don't know. It's the whole situation is just very weird, and it just ruined. Like then he's just got to sit down and wait half an hour before he gets up to do Best Actor, and he delivers a really uncomfortable speech that was really tough to watch. I realized I get a lot of secondhand embarrassment as well with these things. I couldn't watch it at certain points during his speech when he was just rambling and trying to defend it as like, oh yeah, I'm just full of love, so I need to defend my family in these moments. That's how he kind of tried to frame it, and it was just fucking tough to watch and kind of sad because I was excited for him to win an award. Basically, only him and Tom Cruise, the only people I was like, oh, genuinely, I'm actually interested in these people winning awards, even though it's ridiculous. They're celebrities and they're worth hundreds of millions. I actually was excited to see him win an award, and now he's ruined his whole night. Just very mad. But on the plus side, the content's been good. Apart from some of the takes about like, someone will be like, oh, this sums up Hollywood. You can slap a guy in the face, and then half an hour be applauded for winning an award. And then other people are, oh, yeah, he used the language of like a domestic abuser and all this stuff. It's like, you don't need to be, not everyone has to be analyzed in such a deep way like that. He just made a dumb mistake, and he's clearly emotional and he's fucked up because his marriage has just been like aired out in public for the last 2 years. Everyone knows his business, and he divulged way too much info in his autobiography as well. So I feel like Will Smith's just not in a very good place. He needs to just chill, go hide somewhere. I mean, he was still vibing at the after parties and shit, but I feel like you just need to retreat for a bit. I don't know what his next film is, but just go chill, sort your marriage out. Stop telling the public every detail of your business, and then maybe you won't have these breakdowns. Yeah, just a fucking crazy thing to happen. I don't know. Yeah, what was your guys' reaction when you woke up to the news, Mason? When you woke up to see what the headline moment was from otherwise terrible Oscars ceremony? But this was the standout moment that like got everyone going.
So I found out from you, actually. I woke up, this morning to a voice note from you at 4 a.m. saying, what the hell has just happened? And I was like, what was funny was I read your messages without the voice notes. I was like, I don't know what you're on about. It sounded really cryptic. I went back and was like, right, okay. Doesn't sound real to me. Sounds like when you say it out, when you like text it, it sounded very staged. Watch the video, and even even the video, it just feels staged at first because Chris Rock doesn't move. Even when he gets hit, he just kind of like that. And it's the way you can't see the slap happen. And it's just the way that he lets him approach him that close just to get slapped. Like, yeah. But it's been quite late. It's been quite interesting. I've been entertained all day basically on Twitter through the content. And everyone's already, I've seen articles branding it as the lowest moment of the Oscars ever, which just isn't true. But it's kind of what you expect from this moment. And like, it is a shame because it's a really big moment for him. It's his first ever Oscar. And instead you're going to remember that moment instead of him winning. And yeah, I watched a bit of the speech and him saying about how Richard, the character he played, was defending his family and how he's doing the same. It was just it was a bit cringe. Like watching him cry was just a bit much. I was just like, oh man.
He was just so overwhelmed in that moment. He didn't know what he was saying. He's just trying to get out words. Like he definitely, because he obviously had like a speech ready. He's already done a few good speeches in like the awards season. He obviously had like a speech ready. Then he obviously had to address this. He couldn't just like air it, pretend it didn't happen. So he had to address it in some way. And he's also, he's genuinely crying because he actually wanted this moment. Because he's obviously been like a big movie star, but like not often like recognized as like an actual serious actor. So this is like, recognition that he's actually done good work as well as being the most famous person in the world. And then he's got all that emotion going on top of everything else, trying to justify it. Yeah, it's just a fucking shambles. But there's people who are like, oh yeah, it should be taken away from him. The Oscar should be taken away from him and shit like that, as if the Academy didn't give Best Director to the sex offender 20 years ago, or whatever. And basically, there are all these people with sexual harassment claims and shit like that, and Weinstein's influence that they definitely knew about for years. That was all cool, but now it's like, yeah, got to take this away because he slapped a guy. It's not really that deep. I don't know, Ross. What was your reaction when you woke up to the news?
Well, I'm kind of, because I had work today, I didn't watch it last night. So I was trying to avoid stuff, but I went on social media in the end, and like I didn't see any spoilers for anything. I literally, until now, I haven't even seen who's won anything apart from Will Smith winning Best Actor, because all I saw was that and his speech afterwards. That's literally the only things that are on social media, like nothing else. I think to be fair, the rest of it, it's like nothing that wasn't expected to win won, really. So there's nothing else to really talk about. But it's just mad. Like I can't, because at first I thought it was like a skit, and I was like, why is no one laughing? This is so awkward. But then I watched it again, and you can tell that Chris Rock's actually like stunned when he's talking. He's like, well, and then he makes like a little joke to like, it's a G.I. Jane joke, like, dude, I can't remember what he said, but it's something like that. And then Will Smith, as you say, he swore, so that means he was really being serious because he wouldn't swear. They wouldn't like skit a swear, would they? And Will Smith never swears anyway, so it's like it's just weird, yeah. I just don't know what to think of it. It's just a bit like, kind of like, he's basically ruined his own night. That's just what's going to be remembered now, isn't it? Will Smith won an Oscar. Oh yeah, isn't that the night he slapped someone? Yeah, that's because what it's going to be now. So I think it's just funny as well because he was laughing at first. I think he probably didn't hear it. And he was just laughing to like be polite.
Yeah. That's part of the whole like performance of the like celebrities. Like you got to just. You're like, obviously some of them would be genuinely like listening and stuff, but most of it is like performing to make yourself look good.
Yeah,
laugh when you're supposed to, cry when you're supposed to, whatever. So he's just go with the flow. It's like, hold on, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say? And then obviously sees Jada's reaction as well. And then goes from there.
Just over the top. There's no need to like fucking slap him. I don't know. It seems a bit weird. I get like defend your family and stuff, and I think she's had, because her hair loss is because of alopecia, so she's a bit sensitive about it. But still, it was a funny joke. Like I thought it was funny.
Nah,
but, yeah, I don't know.
If you didn't know, but like she actually talks about her alopecia and stuff like publicly. So
if I had a bald head because of alopecia, I'd want people to make fun of it.
I mean, yeah, she's a woman though, so it's a bit different.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I feel like making jokes out of stuff is.
Anyway, I have no problem with him actually doing the slap. Like, Because if that was just like if he just did that like in the club in the party afterwards, like Chris Rock made a joke and he slapped him, it wouldn't be that deep. Like kind of be deep because they're celebrities, but like you get over it. It's the fact he did it on stage because it's the fact he lost composure and like got up on the stage is what makes it deep. Like if this was just two guys in a club or anything, any two random guys and someone insulted someone's wife and he slapped him, like it's just whatever. You move on. So I'm kind of like, yeah, that's kind of my perspective on it. It's just the fact that it was on stage that Will Smith, perfectly manicured celebrity, been putting on a great campaign to try and win this Oscar. Got all this. There's got a whole like publicist team and everything to make himself look good. That he just in that moment he just completely lost his head and walked up the stage and slapped him. It's just crazy. I don't know. Yeah, it's just. I mean, it definitely spiced up the ceremony. Can't lie, because up until that point, it was just sitting there, like you say, Ross. All the awards were predictable, pretty much. Like a few, like kind of 50-50s, but nothing you really care about. Like the screenplay Oscars are kind of like up in the air a tiny bit, but like Belfast winning, like yeah, could have happened. Coda adapted was probably just about the favorite, and then Best Picture was kind of a 50-50, but Coda had been building up this wave for so long that by the time it happened, it was kind of expected. And by the time it happened in the ceremony, everyone was just thinking about Will Smith, couldn't even focus on anyone else winning an award. So yeah, bit of a mad one. Matt, I guess you probably haven't even, do you even look up the awards or anything? Did you, or like are you like Ross, you just see the furore online revolving around Will Smith?
I learned about it the way I learned about almost all global news, which is through second or third hand memes. I was looking through the powerlifting chat and someone put a meme and it was like Will Smith I didn't know it was Will Smith clearly back then, slapping someone on stage. And it was like something about not getting a very good total because you don't eat enough or something before a meet. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. Moved on, went on Instagram, and then it's just like, then it's also like all in my feed. Like I saw him like 3 or 4 times of him just going up there. I was like, what the heck? Like, it just didn't look like, I was just hoping it was fake just for Will Smith's sake. That's just like embarrassing, to be honest. Like what? Like he actually walked all the way up there, smacks him in the face, and then like swaggers back to his seat. And then he goes, know what? I'm not going to try and pass this out for a bit because people are still laughing at that point. And he just starts swearing at him. Like it's just kind of mad, to be honest. Like he's definitely not doing very well mentally. Probably his wife feels like, oh, I need to be supported more. So that's definitely like playing in his head that he hasn't been supportive before. So now he's got to support her in front of everyone. And like you can't really like shout something out and say like, oh, I don't. It's like you can't really heckle Chris Rock because you can't heckle a comedian. That's like suicide basically. You'll get rinsed. So instead, he just kind of. I don't know. He should have been lucky he didn't make a joke about cheating or something like that. You know,
they made a joke earlier about cheating, and they've loads of comedians have before. So I think that doesn't trigger him. But that kind of makes sense though, because like it's not even cheating though. It's an open marriage. It wasn't cheating. It was like like obviously that's a weird. Obviously, an open marriage is a weird concept. Like I can't imagine that myself, but like they agreed on that. There was obviously some tension there, and it's a bit of a weird one. But like the fact they agreed to that and they were talking about that in public, like it's not that deep. Whereas like her hair loss is obviously more like personal, so I kind of get it. But yeah,
so it's something beyond your control. But also like, surely they would have been like preempting something like this. Like they've had Ricky Gervais for the last few years, and he's like gone into anyone and everyone. But yeah, it's just a shame it kind of just ruined his award and ruined his evenings. Now it just kind of it just feels a bit tainted. Well, more than a bit, you know, because that's all anyone's going to remember. I don't know, not ideal what you want to see from someone who's supposed to be like not a role model. But then also the fact it's like I saw like a bunch of people afterwards, like, is Will Smith going to get escorted off by the premises? Like, are they going to dock him like certain privileges? Are they going to send him home? And afterwards, like a few guys just come up and give him a hug. You know, I'm pretty sure like some of the staff are just like, you know, it's all right. You know, when I'm winning the award, it's like, okay. And it does seem weird. I know it's not that deep for the action, but it is kind of deep. Like people can get PTSD for less. And I'm sure Chris Rock will bounce back pretty soon. But I feel like there should be some like more sort of consequence or something, you know. And then when he's apologizing to the Academy and everyone at the end of the speech, he doesn't even apologize to Chris. He just doesn't even mention Chris's name. So the guy actually hit. So just not a good day for the Oscars, to be honest.
Still good. The photo is good, but the photo is so perfect for me. It's kind of unbelievable. It's almost staged the way he's because it's like a perfect swing. So you can perfectly put your whatever captions you want to put on the two bodies is perfect. I've one ready to slay the group chat for that at the cinema. Like just be like, Chris Rock saying, you can't. Sorry, your child can't come in to see Batman. It's a 15, and then just slap. It's perfect. It's perfectly lined up. So it's almost like he was thinking about the meme potential when he did it. But yeah, mad. Other than that, just terrible Oscars. They're just desperately trying to appeal to younger people while alienating the people who actually want to watch the Oscars. They're trying to get ratings back. That's just not realistic anymore. So it was all just tough with athletes giving out awards and just awkward like reunions and just so many stupid things and all the musical numbers. Beyonce opens the show, but she does the musical number not even in the actual studio. It's in the tennis court like in Compton or whatever, which is like fair enough. It all looked cool, but like so you're just opening the show without even a performance in the studio to get people hyped in there. Just a lot of terrible stuff, and obviously all the awards not getting presented live, being edited in, and even the way that it was edited in wasn't very fluid or fluent. Just didn't work. Yeah, but I'm gonna watch it again next year because then I hate myself. Yeah, and it's probably gonna get worse. It's gonna be hard. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do now because I think the ratings obviously up on last year, but that was obviously gonna happen because it was a COVID year and no one had seen any of the films. But they're still not like good. And then the ceremony was terrible, and then they've had this nadir of a moment with Will Smith. So I don't know what they're going to do to try and revamp it again next year. Whatever they do, it will be terrible. That's the only guarantee we can have. Oh well, shame. The Coronies, the second annual Coronies, reformatted for the new structure that we implemented last year to refine the approach to the podcast. So basically split it in terms of the two kind of sections we have. Obviously they have the head-to-head, and then we have the new releases. The head-to-head, we have the categories that we go through. So for, you know what, it makes sense to just do the categories that we do within the head-to-head, make those the categories for the Coronies. So you can have our best performances, our best story, our best visual style, our best tone across all of the films. Don't know how many films, maybe Ross will know how many films we've done in the head-to-head in the last, it's not a year, it's probably less than a year because I think
it's less than a year because we did we haven't done the films from when we reformatted the podcast, like before we reformatted it. So
yeah.
It's only since the reformat, which I don't know when it was, but it was less than a year ago.
I reckon like 11 months, maybe 10. So it would have been around the last Oscars, around that time, I think, roughly.
Yeah, because there's a few films we haven't done. How many? So I'll count for you whilst you carry on. Hang on.
And then the new releases category, more kind of traditional in terms of, I think, what we kind of did last year. Best Picture, the Best Director, Best Actor, and a Best Supporting Actor. And the way I did it was everyone sent in 3 nominations for each category across the 2 sections, ranking them in order. You get 3 points for your first pick, 2 points for your second pick, and 1 point for your third pick, and then just added it up. Just nice and simple. Didn't think about it too much. Could have done a more complex voting system, but don't need to do that. We have our arrangement, and it worked. I don't know. Guess I'm gonna go around to get everyone's thoughts on the year of podcasting again in this new format. Maybe particular films you wanted to shout out that you nominated that might not end up winning. You never know. So start with you, May. Do you got any reflections on the year in film podcasting? Anything that stood out to you as a highlight?
From a logistical and from like a flow standpoint, I think it means we like review different films as well as, well, yeah, just different films in terms of category wise. I'd like to bring back the rating though at some point, just so that we can like have a giant list at some point. I think the only thing I know it's like you have to add like more time to rate each of the films individually, but maybe just off the podcast for our spreadsheet we could rate them. In terms of films this year, I know there's been quite a lot of good ones, I think. I recently watched Suicide Squad. I know I wasn't here for the actual episode that we did Suicide Squad in cinema, but I watched it again. I actually really, really liked it. So I gave that a few nominations. So I think that might be interesting.
I rewatched that recently. Actually, I really like that film. I really just like all the choices that he made in terms of the way to structure it and stuff. It's really cool, as you'd expect from James Gunn. I've heard good things about that Peacemaker show. I probably won't ever watch it, but I've heard good things about it.
I think that was one of my favorite parts. Like, yeah, all the decisions he made, the film that could have quite easily been really bad. Like those kind of films, especially the previous film, and those kind of films can be really hit and miss. And tonally, I thought it'd be all over the place, but it was all over the place, but it worked. And yeah, Peacemaker is such an interesting character as well. It's nice that he's got a show that you can kind of delve into him a bit more.
Ross, reflections on the 21-22 season of Corona Cinema.
Yeah, it's been a strong year, I think, because obviously we started when the cinemas opened. It feels like such a long time ago now that we started, but I looked, there's 20. We've done 21 weeks, but one of the weeks we did the top movie moments. But I mean, we still did a cinema film. I mean, well, it's a Lost Daughter, it's not cinema, but it's a new release. But anyway, it's 21 weeks. So I mean, we do it every 2 weeks, so that is pretty much a year, isn't it? Is it? No, it's like 10 weeks less. Ignore me. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been decent. I think obviously compared to other years, like in terms of kind of award season of years, there's been much stronger years, and like new releases have been a lot stronger. But I think because of COVID and stuff, a lot of films have had to be cancelled, put back, reorganized, and I think I'm expecting in the years to come with COVID, like I say COVID's over, but like in real life COVID's over. No one cares about it anymore. So yeah, Mason's literally got COVID. There's yeah, I'm expecting like stronger years in the future, but no, it's been decent. I think with like, it's been a lot of like, I mean, Marvel have just released stuff after stuff again, and come back with all that, and then we've got other big blockbusters like June and Suicide Squad coming out. It's been a good year for that kind of stuff coming back, and I think just that's the stuff that gets more attention in cinema, obviously, because that sells. Like, I'm pretty sure that like I haven't been to the cinema for a few weeks because in the evening it's just been like the Batman, like on every showing. So it's yeah, but a decent year. I think going to next year, I might try and watch more kind of like of the foreign releases that come out, and try and, because they're usually better or just as good or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of strong stuff though. And I say, Matty, shout out James Gunn and the Suicide Squad, and I think that is one of the best films of this year, to be honest. And I'll give some love to Jackass Forever as well. We didn't do it on the podcast, but what a great film. That was amazing. That was one of my favorite films of this year as well. So yeah, that's what I think.
A lot of my favorite films we didn't end up doing on the podcast just because they didn't line up, right? Like Licorice Pizza, Jackass, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. We didn't do it. Did we do West Side Story? No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. That was really good though as well.
Yeah, Scream as well, Drive My Car. So yeah, a lot of good stuff that I really enjoyed. Didn't end up lining up just right, but should be some more exciting stuff to come. Mason, what do you think of the films over the last 10, 11 months?
I've been very present for most of the episodes this 10, 11 months, but from what I've seen, yeah, it's been quite good. When I was going back through the list, I realized that of the amount of films that I've watched, I've not actually been on a lot of the episodes for. It's just kind of that I've seen them already. So it kind of feels like I'm cheating when I vote for some of them in the awards. But I don't know, I think, yeah, as the season is, I've actually quite enjoyed it. I think, like you said, there's a lot of films that I've watched not on the podcast, and there's other films that like Licorice Pizza. I wasn't too sure on it when I first watched it, but looking back on it now, that was probably one of my favorite films of this season. So I think all in all, it's been it's quite a strong year, really. I think I probably preferred it to last year. I think there was just a lot more interesting stuff. I think you have a lot of generic kind of copy and paste, kind of like Belfast. But yeah, when you have stuff like Licorice Pizza there, which I'm waiting to rewatch again. Yeah, I think all in all, it was a good season.
Yeah, the voting was quite widespread. I mean, in certain categories, it's quite widespread, particularly the newer releases. There was less of a consensus. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I think there was a few. I think like me and Ross had no for story for their head-to-head. We had none of the same picks, which is interesting. Usually, most there's at least one or two overlaps on most of them. But yeah, getting to the awards. So head-to-head, best performances. This was the most dominant out of all the categories, getting 10 points, which is clear of anything else. There Will Be Blood. Best performances. I feel like that was my number one. I'm pretty sure. Was it my number one? No, I don't think it was actually. Where is it? No, that was my number 3 actually. I feel like you guys might have plumped for the number 1 for the strength of the lead performance, I guess, because that's just like an all-timer. And then you also get like Paul Dano and other people doing strong work as well. But yeah, that's best performances. Best story, bit of a closer one, but also with 5 points, There Will Be Blood. Another win. Sensing a pattern here. That was a lot tighter. That one the fewest overlaps in that category across the board. And like I say, like me and Ross didn't have any of the same picks. Best visual style. Can you guess it? There Will Be Blood. Whoa. It's cleaning up. It's cleaning up. It's like Dune last night. I think, what did Dune get? 6 Oscars, maybe 7? All in the technicals. Yeah. This was definitely my number 1. I think 2 or 3, 2 people had it as their number 1. Then everyone else could just kind of had it in there somewhere, even number 3 or number 2. So I feel like May might not have had it. No, he didn't. The outlier in that one. Final category in the head-to-head is going to be a clean sweep of the head-to-head for There Will Be Blood. With 6 points, best tone, Whiplash. Thought it was interesting. I didn't have that in my picks. Did Matty have that? I don't think he did. No, he didn't. So it was then Mason and Ross both picked it as their number 1. That's what took it over the top. And that's an interesting one. Me and Matty didn't show any love, but Mason and Ross tipped over the top. Tipped it over the top with their high estimation of that one. So that's their head-to-head. Three wins for Dune. Best Dune for There Will Be Blood. Best performances, best story, best visual style, and then best tone for Whiplash. All right, best picture in the new releases. Kind of spoiled it then by misreading. But with 7 points, it is Dune. 2 people had it as their number 1. I think I had it as my number 3. I think this would have been I think Dune Part 2 might win Best Picture at the Oscars. Even because I can kind of understand why it didn't win, because it's a part 1 of a story. Kind of like Lord of the Rings didn't win until the final one of the trilogy. But as a well-executed, popular film, like Spider-Man doesn't need to be in low. That was a big debate getting Spider-Man nominated for Best Picture because it's the biggest film of the year and stuff. But I think Dune is the right balance of like actual craft, really good story, and it actually made a lot of money and a lot of people saw it. So I reckon that'll be a good shout for Best Picture in 2024. That Oscars. Yeah, even this year, I wouldn't have minded out of the nominees. But yeah, Dune is our Best Picture. That is for sure. And best director, another tight one. It gets a bit tighter here in the new releases. Best director, 5 points. Denis Villeneuve. Sure, he's gonna be gassed. Didn't get nominated for best director at the Oscars, so we'll let him know. He'll do that really. It's kind of a smug smile. He's not trying to be smug, but there's something about it. It's like he smiles like a more handsome man. I don't know. Like he's relatively handsome, but he smiles like an even more handsome man. I think it's because his eyes are really small as well. There's something about that smile that's kind of funny to me. But yeah, kind of mad that he didn't get nominated for best director at the Oscars, considering what like a gargantuan achievement that was. And like all his team basically got nominated, like technical team and everything like that. And he was the one orchestrating things, but didn't get nominated, which is kind of weird. But oh well, he's won this. He's won the Coronies, so second a valuable consolation, I'd say. Best actor. Oh, tension. Luckily, he's not there to slap Ross across the face at this award ceremony. But Will Smith with 5 points takes best actor. Another really low one. That one. I think one person might have had him as number one, and then a couple third place picks. I had him as third place. Yeah, I don't mind that. Don't mind that. I wanted him to win for not because I thought it was definitely the best performance of last year, but a really great performance. And it's kind of like one of them where it's like, yeah, it's his time to honor him. Just a shame, as we've talked about, that he kind of brought the moment down a little bit there. Just kind of sad, but he can't bring the moment down here. He gets to Corony, or maybe we can't give it to him now. If certain newspaper journalists, columnists out there probably gonna be furious. Could be in the front page. Coronies give our award to abuser or something. So maybe we have to rethink that. I don't know. We'll talk about that off mic. Best supporting actor. This was a cool one. I thought didn't expect you guys to lean this way. I think this was my number one. They got a couple of number ones. And then it was prominent in another. I think it might have been two number ones and a number two. I think that's might have been what it was. 8 points. Best supporting actor, Jessie Buckley. And I thought she was, yeah, very, very good in The Lost Daughter. Another one I thought might have that was in the shot for best adapted screenplay. Because there was half a chance might have got in there. And even at one point, maybe even Olivia Colman, to be honest, best actress was quite wide open, although it looked like Chastain was going to come through, which is, I like her, and it was a good speech, but don't really care for the performance or the film. But yeah, Jessie Buckley, good winner. So that's the new releases. Best Picture, Dune. Best Director, Denis Villeneuve. Best Actor, William the Slap Smith. And what was actual winner? He's got a funny middle name. I know his full name's Willard or Willard Smith. He gets best actor and best supporting actor, Jessie Buckley. Guys, any reaction to any of those awards? Anything surprise you? Anything that excites you? I don't know. Ross, May.
I'm a little bit disappointed that best tone didn't go to In Bruges because that's what I had.
To be fair, now I'm thinking about it, that should have been my number 3. Because I feel like I raved about the tone on that episode. Yeah. Oh well. We live and learn. Definitely, yeah, no one else voted for it, so
I tried to go with ones that were kind of like a different tone rather than a good tone, because they all kind of blend together otherwise. I think In Bruges just had such a weird like dyad of depression and optimism, I think, throughout it. And then I went with second, Basic Instinct, because that's just like constant dread and like you feel you're gonna get stabbed any minute. And then Die Hard, because the tone is just fuck you the whole way through, which is quite good, very American.
I had Phantom Thread as my one. Obviously, who won best? Oh, yeah, it was Whiplash. That was interesting. But yeah, Phantom Thread, just like the balance of the hilarious and the severe. Just good shit from PTA. Ross, Mason, do you have any final words on those awards?
Well, I went for Whiplash as my number one, just because I feel like that film, when I watch it, I just feel like J.K. Simmons is going to beat the shit out of me the whole film, and it's just like kind of scary watching it, and it's like a tense.
He's not Will Smith.
yeah. To be fair, he's going to slap him. Although what's worse, being slapped or throwing a cymbal at your head? I'm not sure. But no, I Die Hard and In Bruges I did really consider because they're both. That's kind of what's special about those films. Like the feeling you get when you watch it. But my number 3 was Step Brothers, just because it's so like it's just hilarious throughout the whole thing, and like quite like a fun story to go along with. It's just like a good vibe, fun story, like a funny tone, and yeah, that's what I went for. Step Brothers number 3, but no, yeah, Whiplash was my number 1, and I guess it was Mason's as well. That's why I won. But I'm glad there will be got the clean sweep for the rest, because it's true craftsmanship, a quality film.
Mason, you have the last word.
I thought there'd be more love for Sleepless in Seattle, because I gave that quite a few votes actually. I think when I looked at mine, but other than Sleepless in Seattle, looking at what I've done, I thought Olivia Colman might get a bit more for actor, because she was in 2 films that we done this year. So I thought, that'd bump her up. I mean, that was the main reason I put her as number 1 as well, because I think she actually has given 2 quite good performances in the last 2 seasons. But yeah, why no love for Sleepless in Seattle, guys? It was a really good film.
I like Sleepless in Seattle, but I don't know. They didn't even really crop up, in any thoughts for any of the characters. That's how it goes sometimes. That's the 2nd annual Coronies. Congratulations to all the winners. There's we can't afford any statuettes. I don't know. Ross can give you some pop vinyls or something.
No jobs. Oh, okay.
Yeah, all that. But yeah, that wraps it up. Short episode. Bit of Oscars chat and the Coronies. New season coming next week. But it's at Corona Cinema at Instagram. On Instagram. At Liam Waite 98 on Twitter, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, Podbean. Next episode, kicking off the new season. Can't actually remember what it is. Ross, what is it?
I can't remember either.
Fuck. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I want to record on the Friday next time, so I'd have to take my laptop home when I come back for Easter. So it's some Netflix film that I found out that comes on the Friday. So yeah, it'll be that. It's called, what is it? Where is it? Here it is. Metal Lords. Yeah, that'll be the main review. And then Golfing Comedies. That's the head-to-head. That'll be funny. Caddyshack versus Happy Gilmore. Until then, go well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You don't want to play a game?